Yo everybody, what is up? It's your boy Ashley the Cat coming at you with a really cool video. But before I get started on all that, I do want to go ahead and throw a shout out to myself. I just joined Twitter very recently, so if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'll definitely hit you with a follow back. I really want to see a lot of people that play Pokemon on Twitter. I hear from a lot of people that Twitter is a great resource for meeting different people in the Pokemon community. You know, I'm trying to put that to a test, but what I'm here to talk to you about today is I recently was invited to participate, well not invited, I applied to be in the GBA Fan Draft League. So if you don't know what the GBA is a draft league that is very successful on YouTube. It's got a lot of big YouTubers in it, and it's always got really great quality matches. Well, this is a really cool tournament. You're separated into different conferences or divisions that have conferences of 10 people, and then those conferences are split into two with two divisions of 5, but you draft with the 10 people. So I did my draft with 10 other people, and I will be separated into a division with half of them, well, you know, 4 other people, and we will have to duke it out between each other, and the top 2 from each of these divisions goes on to a 64 person bracket tournament. There's a lot of the different coaches from the GBA as well as the analyst, and it's a really cool opportunity to kind of rub elbows with really awesome competitive people and just grow myself as a battler. So you draft 8 Pokemon and 1 Mega. There's a couple of Pokemon and stuff on the ban list, but nothing that I really felt drawn to picking besides Tapu Lele, and I don't think that would have fallen to me anyway had it been unbanned because I had picked number 4. But I'll go ahead and switch over from my Twitter screen into my little slideshow I got here. So first off, I picked Tapu Fini. I felt like this was a great pick because it does a lot of roles very well. It's the best defogger in the meta in my opinion. It has great defensive bulk, as you can see, with 115 defense and 130 special defense. Its special attack is pretty good at 95. Obviously, it could be better, but with choice specs and Calm Mind options for Fini, that's really not missed. It gets pretty good coverage. Water Fairy is a nice typing. And I felt like Misty Terrain was a good terrain to build around. Terrains are very powerful, and in a tournament like this, where yeah, you probably won't face everybody I'm going to face isn't going to have a Tapu, but if there's definitely going to be good players with Tapus that come around, and I don't want their terrain to be an influencer on me. Tapu Fini can underspeed Tapu Koko, meaning that I can get my terrain up if I absolutely need to. I mean, I can't stay into it, but I have some good switches that I picked up later. Essentially, I picked Tapu Fini because the Misty Terrain is great. It's a great defensive Pokemon. It's the best defogger. I don't have to worry about getting like a rapid spinner or anything because I can pretty much always get a defog off, and only one person can have Bisharp. So I think all in all, Tapu Fini was a great pickup and a really good number 1 choice, especially at pick number 4. All right, let's move on to the next one. So here we have thundurus-t. thundurus-t was my next pickup because, as you know, Tapu Fini is a water type, and thundurus-t gets Volt Absorb, meaning that people will be a little more wary to try and use electric type moves against my Tapu Fini because I'm packing something that can absorb those and then turn around and absolutely decimate. The special attack of 145 is nuclear, and its speed at 101 is really nice, barely edging it out over that really crowded base 100 speed tier. Thundurus gets pretty good moves, especially on the special side, which is fantastic. It's like Dark Pulse, and the hidden powers are typically very powerful in the hands of Thundurus. It obviously gets Thunderbolt, Volt Switch. I'm a huge fan of this Pokemon. I've drafted it in a couple of leagues already just because, 1, I'm pretty familiar with it as a Pokemon, and 2, I think seeing how important electric types are in the draft format, not only having a great electric type, but a good electric counter or something that dissuades people from using electric type attacks, really gives it a really solid niche in my team. So next up, we are going to go with Dragonite. So originally I had wanted to pick up Zygarde with my second pick. It was kind of wishful thinking that it would end up all the way over there to me, but you know, we're allowed to be wishful sometimes. The reason I wanted Zygarde was because it does a great job of mowing people down with a Dragon Dance up, and seeing as how Dragon Claw is usually an afterthought to Thousand Arrows spam anyway, I figured that the Misty Terrain nerfing my dragon moves wouldn't be that big of a bummer. So I kind of wanted to carry over those same ideas when picking a physical sweeper. I wanted somebody that was a dragon type. I wanted somebody who wouldn't be too affected by Misty Terrain, and that's where I landed on Dragonite. So it's still a Dragonite sweeper, it still gets E-speed. It has very, very good coverage to make up for the fact that it doesn't have the beat-all Thousand Arrows spam. Some people would be a little bummed out that it's a flying type because, yes, that means I can get burned or toxic or paralyzed or something like that from somebody. But on the flip side of that, since it is airborne, its dragon attacks will still be launched off at 100% power in Misty Terrain, giving it a distinct advantage over other dragon type attackers, since they'll be putting out 75% of their damage against me if they choose to use a dragon type. Obviously, ice type moves and fairy type moves will still be just as effective as ever, but those dragon type moves will be able to tank a little bit better. Plus, Dragonite has some defensive capabilities as well. 91 HP, 95 defense, and 100 special defense is really, really good. You can run a special attack if you're so inclined to do it. I typically run a physical attack, and its speed tier isn't bad, but with Dragon Dance and extreme speed, it's really not too big of an issue. I really like Dragonite, and I think it meshes very, very well with Tapu Fini and thundurus-t that I've already picked. So next up, I decided I needed to go a little bit defensive because I had my defensive first pick, and then I have a special sweeper and a physical sweeper. I really wanted something to back up Tapu Fini, and I think Tangrowth does that really, really well. Besides its special defense and its speed stat, its stats are really, really good all around. 100 HP and 125 defense is insane, and as most of you probably know, special defense is not bad when paired with the Assault Vest and that high HP. So Tangrowth can be a ridiculously bulky Pokemon, as well as having lots of moves like Leech Seed. Knockoff is a great move to get rid of some of those items on the switch into their Fire type or their whatever they're using to take care of my Tangrowth. It has Spore. I do know I have Misty Terrain, but there are airborne threats. I know for a fact Iron Flash Gaming, I think, drafted the... No, I'm sorry. I can't remember who it was, but somebody drafted a Charizard Y, and being able to Spore the Charizard Y on the switching would be really nice. But lots of utility in this Pokemon, and it's a great defensive wall. It's going to be able to tank a lot of the things coming toward Tapu Fini in the grass department, and that's mainly what I got it for. So with my next pick, I picked Arcanine, which in my opinion, besides Heatran, is the best all-around fire type. I'm sure there's better pure defensively ones. There's arguments to be made for pure defensive fire type Pokemon or pure offensive fire type Pokemon. But as far as best all-around goes, I think Arcanine, obviously without Heatran in the mix, Heatran is fantastic. But I think Arcanine does a fantastic job of being defensive. It's got decent defenses with 90 HP, 80 defense, and 80 special defense, but the fact that it gets Intimidate bolsters that defense a lot, and it really is surprisingly bulky. I've used this Pokemon a ton, and I still find myself very surprised at some of the hits that I live when using it. The other day I was playing with against a Mega Diancie, and it used Diamond Storm on Arcanine. And this Diancie had been blowing everything on my team back, and Arcanine lived. I mean, barely lived, but it did live the Rock Storm, or sorry, Diamond Storm from Mega Diancie. It was full special attack as well, and I barely had HP investment. I was running speed and attack, so I was really impressed at the general bulk of Arcanine, as well as it's having a great offensive move pool, Wild Charge, Flare Blitz, all sorts of things like that. Close combat, it gets extreme speed, it's got reliable recovery. I really could sit here and talk all day about Arcanine. I absolutely love Arcanine. I think it's a fantastic fit for my Fire, Water, Grass core with Fini and Tangrowth, and I can't really say that much more about Arcanine. I absolutely love it. We're moving into my ground type, being Dugtrio. I like Dugtrio's trapping ability. I think it's a really good revenge killer, and I think that it can take out a lot of the things that I've seen drafted so far by my opponents. Being able to threaten anything ground weak is fantastic, and there's lots of good Dugtrio sets. Admittedly, I haven't used Dugtrio as much, which is why I'm not spouting off about it, but I used it enough to know that it fit the role that I needed to on this team. I liked having a trapper. I didn't want to go against somebody with the Dugtrio as well because of my Arcanine. And it gets Rock Slide or Stone Edge as well for my Thundurus and my Dragonite. So Dugtrio was a little scary to me to go against, so I figured I didn't like any other ground types that were still there. I might as well pick up Dugtrio. So I think it fits well with my team then. Next up, we got my Steel type in Metagross. Now, Metagross is one of my favorite Steel type Pokemons, and it has been for a really long time. I wish that we could have used Mega Metagross, because Mega Metagross is one of my favorite Megas, but it's stupid broken. I'm glad it's not in the league. However, regular Metagross, I'm glad fell to me. It gives me Stealth Rocks along with Dugtrio, so that's 2 Stealth Rock users. It has a great move pool with Earthquake and some elemental moves, I'm fairly certain. It gets Meteor Mash, which is one of the most spammable moves in the game because of that attack boost chance. It gets priority with Bullet Punch. It's got really, really good defense, which is nice. The special defense is kind of lacking, and it's really weak to a lot of things that people normally use to sweep, such as Fire, Ghost, Dark, Ground. But overall, I think it's going to play a good role on my team, especially in kind of keeping fairy types at bay. I know that a lot of Pokemon that are fairy types kind of end up a little bit slower than Metagross, at least off the ones off the top of my head that I can think of. But yeah, I really like Metagross. I think it completes. I will admit that my Fairy Dragon Steel core is not as strong as my Fire Water Grass core, but I think it still serves a purpose, and I think that Metagross was the best Steel type available that fit my team at this point. And again, I will say that all the people in my division are fantastic battlers from what I've seen so far, and as far as the draft goes, you can tell that these dudes definitely know what they're doing. I'm happy I got the team that I did, but anyway, I'll reflect at the end. We'll go on, pick up my last pick, which was Mega Sableye. So I waited to pick my Mega last. I talked to Iron Flash Gaming, who is very well renowned by the different people in our division. I personally haven't had the chance to watch anything that they've been in yet, but they were very helpful with me and had a lot of good team building advice. And he suggested that I wait until the very last pick to pick my Mega, because since I didn't really know what kind of Mega I wanted, it would be easier to build my team and then try and fit one of the remaining Megas, since any Mega that would get picked early is likely being built around like the Zards and Mega Diancie and things like that. So we get down to the last pick, and I decided to go Mega Sableye. It was between Mega Sableye and Mega Absol, but I have just used Mega Sableye a lot more. It would be nice to have a defensive presence. I think that I have a good mix of offensive and defensive balance mons, and very few purely defensive mons, which I think Sableye is going to be great at. It gets one of the best support move sets in the entire game, in my opinion. Unfortunately, it does lose Prankster. We do have to Mega turn 1, but Magic Balance is going to be great for kind of trying to keep people's hazards at bay and allowing me to maybe not run Defog on Feeny all the time. Especially, it will keep status off of things like Dragonite as well, because these are smart players that we're playing with. It would not surprise me at all if one of them would bring Will-O-Wisp, knowing that my Dragonite would be airborne. So maybe picking up Mega Sableye will deter them from that, and really just make sure that this team right here does not have to deal with any sort of hazards or statuses or anything of that nature. I think it really helps tie the team together, honestly. So that is pretty much the squad. You only pick 8 Pokemon, you bring 6 per battle. I don't really see myself going super far in this tournament. Obviously, I think that I could. I have the ability. It just depends on how well I play. I know for a fact that I'm already really nervous due to the quality of all the different players and that I've seen so far. And I'm definitely nervous because of the implication. I mean, this is the league that I watched to get into playing competitive Pokemon. So having them keeping an eye on me while I try and play is definitely going to be nerve-wracking, but I'm super excited. I think I have a good team, and I'll be uploading those matches soon-ish. I think we're waiting for all the other drafts to finish, and once the drafts are finished, we'll start our games and everything, and I'll be posting those as they happen with all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I really do hope that you enjoyed my draft analysis. I hope, stick around if you want to see me put this team in action. I think it's a really well balanced team. Not entirely OU. I think really only Feeney and Doug Trio. I guess Tangrowth are all OU, but I think the rest are UU. Well, I guess I think Megas. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Y'all have a good one.